So you'll need your loop band for 2 of the exercises, but we will begin without it. So just pop that to one side. Please make sure that your space is clear so you're not going to trip up over anything. And you're going to start with your feet towards the front of the mat if you're using one, or just generally on your carpet or your rug. Now I just want you to think about those balance points, guys. So your 3 points of balance, that triangular shape. And then can you take your right leg behind you into a soft tandem stance? And by that, I mean that you have your feet about hip distance apart. So again, I'd like you to think about your balance points and just gently pressing them down into the floor. Knees are soft. We're bringing the palms to face in towards the thighs and the shoulders are relaxed down. Can you start to take a float towards the front foot? And the back heel's going to lift. So we've got weight into that front foot, and then you're going to put that back foot down. Can you put weight into the back foot, and the front foot's going to lift? So toes, ball of the foot. So we float forwards and the back heel lifts, and then we come back to centre, and then the toes and the ball of the foot lift. Can you keep on going? I'm going to take a little step back because I see I'm coming off the top of the screen. Yeah, keep on going, keep on going. Lovely. Good. All right, very nice. So we're going to do a couple more like this. And then if you are feeling balanced, you'll start to bring up the front heel as the back heel comes up. So I'll do it on the next one. So I'm pressing weight into the front foot, the back heel lifts, and now can you peel up the front heel? So working heavily on balance, and then bring it back. Lovely. So same again, back heel, front heel, and then team release it back. Good. Can you start to float the arms up? So back heel lifts, and then front heel lifts, and then we bring it back to centre. Very nice. Keep on going, keep on going. The only thing I would ask is, can you lift the heels any higher? And you may not be able to, that may not be right for you today, so go where you can. And as you take the arms back to the thighs, can you take the little fingers towards the back of the room with the shoulders staying nice and low? Very nice. We're going to do just one more here. Good work. We'll finish off with those little fingers floating back. Front part of the foot lifts, and then team, just release it off from there. Take a movement where you need to take a movement, and then guys, can you just bring your arms across to your chest? So knees are softening. We're taking the shoulders, the rib cage and the hip bones round to rotate, and then we bring back the hip bones, the rib cage and the shoulders. So a little bit of gentle mobility, and then we'll go over to the other side in our tandem stance. Lovely, we'll keep on going with this. So we're really thinking about that movement pattern and then bringing it back. Good. And then you might notice the pressure on the feet changing a little bit. So if you're going towards this way, you'll get pressure on the outside of the foot towards that way, yeah? Lovely. And we'll do one more to each side. Every time you go back to centre, can you think about lengthening up through the back? Just a little bit, yeah? As you rotate, your spine naturally compresses. But as you come back, it's like you're unravelling and you can grow that ½ inch. Okay, final one here, and then bring it back to your central position. You have got your feet at the front of your mat, your imaginary mat, and you're going to take your other leg behind you. So we're considering those balance points. Once we've got them, let's start to float to the front foot. The back heel's going to lift, and then bring it back to centre. Good. And then just pick up the toes, ball of the foot on that front foot. So we're about hip distance apart, something like that. We've got this lovely rolling movement going on through the feet. Really nice. And as we come forwards, we're getting that weight through the front leg. Good. Now on the next few, we'll start to work with a bit of balance. So can you press your weight into that front leg? Back heel will lift, and then the front heel's going to lift, and then bring it down again. Lovely. As you're going through the movement, just make sure that you've got your toes forward, you've got your heels towards the back of the room. I think I had a little rotation in there, didn't I? Very nice. Good. And we'll start to use those arms as well. So as we float forwards, the arms are going to track forwards. So we've just got that gentle float up. And then as we come back, we're thinking about the little fingers going towards the back of the room, if that feels okay. Lovely. Let's do 2 more here. Good. And then maybe the heels would pick up just a little bit more. Our final one. And we'll finish off here and then just bring it back to center. Soften your knees, bringing them back underneath the hips again. I'm just going to get you to go into a touch of lateral flexion. So we've got lots of different movements through the spine. If it feels good, you might go a little bit further with those fingers. So just taking them down towards the heel bone. And then can we think about breathing in as we come to center and then an exhale as we drop over. So chin is staying in line with the breastbone. So what we're trying not to do is to drop the ear over, yeah? We're not trying to stretch the neck. We'll go for 1 more each side. Good. And we'll finish off here. Okay, so we're going to move back into our tandem stance, guys. This time, you might choose to go a little bit narrower with the tandem stance. So it's going to challenge your balance a touch more. So a little bit narrower if you can. And then your arms are in, we call it a dumb waiter. So it's like you're holding 2 bowls of soup and you've got your shoulder blades down. So team, elbows stay in towards the waist and we're just opening the arms to the sides. And we try, with the arms, we're trying not to go like this, yeah? We're trying to get them as even as we can with the movement. Beautiful. So I'd like you, as you open, to take a breath in and see if you can press it into your breastbone. So you're going into a little bit of mild extension. So we take a breath in here and exhale it away. And obviously if the extension doesn't feel good, you don't have to do it. Good. Okay. Is it possible to bring your back big toe in a little further? So we're challenging the muscles on that back leg. So find your balance points again, team. And we're going back into our dumb waiter movement. Lovely. Now for the next few, can we start to squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other? But remember, we want to keep the shoulders down the back. So, breathing in to open, shoulder blades squeeze. Exhale to release it off. Fabulous, and we'll do 1 more. And then guys, relax it off and just take movement where you need to take movement. So we'll go to the other side, we'll change the legs. I'm encouraging you to use a stretch band or a loop band on this side, and it's the same movement, team. So if you're using a loop band, you might just use 1 strand. If you're feeling tough today, you might use both strands. Remember to make the loop band tighter. You can walk your hands down it to make it a bit looser. You can walk your hands towards the ends. So we've got the other leg behind us. Now it might feel different on this side, so you might keep your legs a bit wide to start with at least. So team, can you take your shoulders down your back? Make sure you've got a little bit of give in the band and a tight grip, yeah, tight grip on the band. Okay, take a breath in to open. Exhale it away. So don't worry about the shoulder blades squeezing together on this side, yeah? Don't worry about the breath going into the breastbone. Just use the breathing, yeah? So breathing in to open. And then an exhale to bring it back. Good. Now team, could you get your elbows nice and straight and strong? So, sorry, not your elbows, your wrists. So you're not here and you're not here. So straight and strong in the wrists. I'm going to do 1 more and then I'm going to ask you, could you bring that back leg closer towards the front leg? Do you want to tighten the band a bit? Do you want to let it go a bit? It's up to you. I'm going to go a touch tighter. So again, we're thinking about taking that breath in. Exhale. Fabulous. Few more, keep on going. So we should start to feel work into that back leg. Last 3. As always, you can rest as and when you need to. Final 2, well done. And then 1 more. Beautiful. And then team, release it off from there. Okay, take some movement. Come on down and come onto your side. So have your band handy, but you don't need it for the moment. We're going into a side lying leg lift, but we might use the band to make it harder. But let's get our setup position. Now for this, both legs are nice and long. If you look down, you should just about see your toes, and you've got a piece of paper slipped under that bottom rib. Put your hand down at the front, stabilise your shoulders. So send your shoulder blade down your back towards your back pocket. Okay, we're keeping that rib and hip exactly where they are, and just starting to lift up that top leg. If you are struggling with balance, if you don't like having 2 legs out long, you can always bend that bottom leg, yep. But if you can, for this exercise, both legs are beautifully long. Lovely. So we're trying to build up a bit of energy around the hip, trying to keep everything as still as possible around the torso. Good, around the abdominal area. Good, so we're challenging those pelvic stabilizers with this movement. Now you can carry on doing this, yeah? No band, but you can carry on doing that movement if you like it and you think it's okay for you today. However, to pep things up a bit, making things harder, you'll take your band, pop it around your legs. You want it to be quite tight and you've got a strong double knot at the front of it, yeah? So put me on pause if you need to get that band on. The worst part is getting the band on, isn't it? Okay, so remember, bottom rib gently lifted. We're staying beautifully long through the waist. And we're going to start to use that band as resistance to lift and lower. Now, my advice here as well is to try not to point your toes. It's not like you're stretching out the foot. Keep your ankle, keep your foot, keep your toes as relaxed as you can. Good. So how many more do we think we can do? I can feel the energy building up already. I've done 3, that's all. Fabulous. So that's 4. Can we try and get to 8? You can always relax as and when. And then from here, we've got the final 3. Good. So as we lift the leg, we're going to start to feel that resistance. And our final 2. Very nice. And 1 more here, team. Good. And then release it down. If you just get rid of your band, so we're unknotting it, putting it to one side. That's the hardest part, actually unknotting it and putting it to one side, isn't it? Come onto your back and we'll do our figure of 4 stretch. So your top leg, the one that you have worked, you're going to bring it into this position. So you've got the heel just above the knee. You press out on the leg to get into the stretch. You could lift the leg up if you wish to. So whatever is right for you. And then just hold that there. Good. A few more seconds. And team, from here, we'll release that down. Okay, very nice. When you are ready, we're coming onto our front. Now we've got some really lovely work for the glutes here. And we'll just build it up step by step. I'm going to take this off and pop it to the front of my mat. Otherwise it'll get a bit ruffled. Okay, so this is pure work for the lower part of the body. You can put your arms to the side, head on a cushion. You could put your forehead on your hands, whatever you would rather do. Okay, so team, your legs are out long. Now, you're focusing on keeping your lower back really still And wherever your hip bones are at the moment, they're not going to move. So sometimes what can happen as we go into this movement is that the hips start to lift up. You start to see this movement, but we want to keep everything as still as possible. Now, we're just going into a glute squeeze, and by that I just mean squeezing the bum muscles together. So you're going to go into a really strong glute squeeze. And what I'd like you to notice is what your heels are doing. So if you can see my heels on the screen, as I squeeze into the glutes, the heels start to roll towards each other. And I'm not forcing that. I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just the general movement. So let's just try it a couple more times. So glutes are squeezing. We're keeping that lower back, the pelvis, as still as we possibly can, Good. So I'm going to go for it one more time, squeezing the glutes and then releasing off again. Now, on the next one, can you squeeze the glutes? Now, make sure you've got an even squeeze. They're squeezing evenly on each side. And then let's just start to lengthen the legs. And by that, I mean, can you start to lift the kneecaps up off the floor and then release it off? Now, you might need to put a bit of energy into the tummy here, So a little bit of a tummy contraction, doesn't have to be big. So squeeze the glutes, heels will start to roll towards each other, and then we are lengthening the legs. And as you lengthen the legs, can you get the inner thighs working? So it's that sense that you're drawing the inner thighs up towards the pelvis. Good. So can you do two more here, team? Just two more. So we squeeze the glutes, heels will start to roll in, really stable in the pelvis. We lengthen the legs, the kneecaps might lift up, and then we encourage the inner thighs to work and then release off. And then just go in for one more. Okay, so you can carry on doing that. It's a fabulous exercise, gorgeous exercise. But to pep this up a bit, can you bend the knees, take the legs a touch wider, and then bring your heels towards each other? You do not have to flex through the foot, You do not have to point the toes, doesn't matter. You're just keeping those ankles in a nice position. So we're going to try this again, but we're putting a heel squeeze into it. So guys, you're going to squeeze into the glutes. See if you can lengthen the legs. I'm not asking you to lift the kneecaps, but get the sense that you're sending them down to the mat. And now can you start to press the heels towards each other? Inner thigh should start switching on and then release it back again. Could you do it on an exhale? So as you exhale, glute squeeze, legs lengthen a little, heel squeeze, and then inhale and release it off. Bit of energy into the tummy if you can, few more times. So we exhale, we lengthen, heel squeeze, inner thighs start working, and it's almost like you're getting the sense that the knees are lifting off, but you're not forcing it. Does that make sense? Last few here, team. So we've got that gorgeous glute contraction. We lengthen through the front of the legs, press the heels together and release. And then two more. So glutes, lengthen, little bit of control through the tummy, press into the heels, get that imaginary sensation that the knees are going to lift off and release back. And then team, one more from here. So we're doing it on an exhale and inhale to release. Good work, good work, good work. Now I'm going to take us into an inner thigh stretch. If you wouldn't mind coming up onto your hands and knees, or actually just onto your knees. You don't need your hands. I mean, you do need them, don't you? But not for this. So please make sure that you are not going to slip on anything as you come into this position. You've got your knees underneath your hips. Get your balance. You can hold on to something. I'd like you first of all to bring one leg forwards, but then can you take it out to the side? Does this feel okay for your hips? So we're going to go for an inner thigh stretch, hand on the inner thigh. Just want you to press that away, press it backwards. Oh, it feels lovely. Really nice inner thigh stretch that. And then release it off. Please take your time, come to the other leg. So track it forwards and then just take that leg out to the side. So again, you've got your hand in your inner thigh and you're just pressing back. So that's the tighter side for me. That's my right side. I never quite know if I'm mirroring on screen or not, but that's always my tighter side. That feels like a gorgeous stretch. Beautiful. And we'll release that off. Okay, lovely. We are coming into side lying on the other side. I'd like you to keep your stretch band around so we can pop that around the leg maybe. So we're working, if we can, with both legs out long. Please, sorry, I think that's it. Let me just adapt that. Please remember, if you don't like both legs out long, you can work with a bent leg underneath. Hands down on the front, bottom rib, piece of paper underneath it, and your shoulders gently down your back. Guys, remember, you are keeping rib and hip distance apart, lifting and lowering. I'm just going to bring my legs slightly forwards because I'm touching some of the boxes there. Yep, good. Okay, really nice. So I can immediately feel I'm a bit wobblier on this side. We could breathe, couldn't we? We could do a lovely exhale to lift and an inhale to bring it back. Really nice. So pelvic stability, stable, still, nothing's moving around the pelvis. You're just lifting the leg to load the stabilizing muscles. Good. Try and keep the legs nice and long. You can imagine that you are lengthening both of them before you lift that top leg. Okay, if you wish to, let's use the band. So it's going around both legs. You've got a strong double knot in the front so it doesn't spring away. And it needs to be relatively tight. Put me on pause if you need to. I'm going to crack on. Okay, so let's see if we can do about 8 on this side. So we're exhaling to lift, inhaling to bring it back. Good. Keep on going, keep on going. So if you need to increase the intensity, you could lift the leg higher, but try not to compromise this position here. Fabulous. Good. Okay, last 5. So we exhale to lift, inhale to bring it down. Good. Last 3 here, guys. So remember, you could lengthen the legs and then lift. It's like you start to create the energy without even lifting if you're just lengthening the legs. And the final 2. Gorgeous. And then 1 more. Good. And then relax that off. You could do more if you want to. I'm hoping the band was tight enough though that we've maxed out there. And then, so team, this band is going to one side and we will come back and we'll get into our all fours, our figure of 4 stretch for the side of the hip. So take your time, make a decision about whether you want to keep one foot on the floor or maybe you want to lift up and you're just holding that position there. Oh, that feels good on that side again. That's my my side that's tighter. Beautiful. And then team, we're going to release that off from there. Okay, so final exercise, working through the abdominals. If you bring your feet just underneath your knees and you've got your arms gently to the sides of the body, and we're going into an ab curl here, but we're beginning by using the lower fibres of the tummy. So you've got a gentle chin nod. Now, can you take your pelvis towards the floor? So we're squashing a blueberry. And as you do so, I'd like you to think about bringing the hip bones towards each other. They don't move, but it's just that kind of mental cue to get the lower fibres of the tummy drawing in. So we tip the pelvis backwards, hip bones might draw together, and release it off. Now, as we go through this movement, can we try keeping the bum muscles quiet? So you're forced to use these tummy muscles. So hip bones draw together, and now maybe the navel, you are cueing it in your mind's eye to draw towards the spine. Can we try a couple more, really trying to keep those bum muscles nice and soft? Can we do this on an exhale? And then inhale to bring it back. And then one more time. So we exhale, we start to draw in. And then we inhale to bring it back. So guys, if you've got a neck issue, if you've got a condition like osteoporosis or osteopenia, or any other condition whereby you know that you shouldn't be lifting the head and the shoulders up off the mat, can you keep on going with that? But everybody else, we're going to stay in neutral now. I'd like you to hover the arms up from the floor, send your fingertips down towards your heel bone. So you've got the shoulder blades going down the back. Now head and breastbone will pick up. Back stays in neutral at the moment, but you are drawing in. Eye lines just above the knees and then bring it back. Can we do this on an exhale? So gentle chin nod, but there's still definitely space between your chin and your chest. And then inhale to bring it back. Good. Couple more here. I'm going to rest the arms between each one, but then lift up. Fingertips drawing down towards the heel bone. Draw in, exhale, and inhale to release off. Okay, so after this next one, can you start to tip your pelvis backwards as you go into this ab curl? So it's going to intensify what's happening around the abdominals. So we draw in, pelvis tips backwards, head and breastbone lift. Draw those fingertips down towards the heels. Inhale to bring it back. Good. Exhaling again. Inhaling. Can we do a few more? Exhaling to lift. Lower back reaches down. Inhaling to bring it back. You are welcome to keep your head down for the last two if you feel as though your neck is being a bit grumpy now. Gorgeous. And we'll finish off with that final one. Exhale, draw in, and inhale it back. Really nice. Guys, if you just bring your arms out, you've got your palms facing upwards. Just drop your knees over to one side, wherever they want to go to. Try and keep your shoulder blades down on the floor, and then does it feel okay to turn your head in the opposite direction? And then unravel, and then we go to the other side. So we're just going to drop the knees over, head goes in the opposite direction, little chin nod down towards the shoulder, and then bring it back. One more on each side to finish. Good. And the final one. Bring it back. And we are done for today. Well done.